Welcome to TMI Project Solutions. Today, I will be showing you a step-by-step guide on how to perform a meta-analysis for continuous outcomes using SPSS. We will be analyzing data from 5 published studies, focus on whether a new antenatal care intervention improved pregnancy outcomes compared to traditional care methods. If you haven't already downloaded the CSV file from the description, please do that. For practical section, our SPSS software has opened. Then let's click on File. Then click on Import Data. And because that data, we save it with CSV data file. So click on CSV data. When that opens, we are on a meta-analysis sample data set SPSS continuous raw data. So let's pick the variable name you used to save it with. And then click Open. When that opens, allow the first line contain variable names, comma, period, double quote, and then 95%. Let it be this way. Click OK. When that happens, you see the data have been imported. Now let's open our SPSS. This is the SPSS data that has been uploaded or imported. We are expanding it so that you can see clearly. Remember, there were 2 groups. We have treatment groups and the control groups. On these treatment groups, we have 5 studies which we source. And these are the authors of the study and their publication years. For the treatment group, you have treatment N. N here stands for sample size. You have treatment mean, treatment standard deviation. For the control groups, we have this control N, which is sample size, control mean, control standard deviation. You may wish to see how the variables were labeled. Let's go to variable view, click on variable view. You will notice that all the treatments and sample size, treatment mean, standard deviation, both for control and treatment group are all measured in scale because they are continuous variables, because those data are continuous. If you have done that, let's go to our data view and then let's run it in meta-analysis. So go to Analyze, click on Meta-analysis, then click on Continuous Outcomes. If you want to understand how to run binary outcomes, then watch my lecture, a video on binary outcomes. But for here, we are working on continuous outcomes. So click on Continuous Outcomes, then Raw Data. We are choosing raw data because we have mean and standard deviation included and sample size. So click raw data. When that opens, you see that our variables are shown here. And here you have treatment group and you also have what is called the control groups. So now what you do, ensure that you pick everything that you have here to the same place. So study ID should go to study ID. Study label should go to study label. So then let's do it. Study ID, click and then click on here for it to enter study ID. Study label, click on it to enter, click here to enter study label. Then treatment N is the sample size for the study. So treatment N to study size. Treatment mean to study mean. Treatment standard deviation to standard deviation here on that treatment group. Then control N to control groups. Control N to control standard study size. Control mean to control mean. Control standard deviation to control standard deviation. When that is done, remember under the effect size, Cohensd is appropriate to be ticked. You may decide to tick also adjusted standard error if your sample size is small. In our own case, let's check our sample size. You may want to see our N here, which represents sample size. They were not that big. So this is 35 here for treatment, for example. Then for control, you see 30. So if you add like 30 that is 65. So we may decide to take in adjusted standard error, but if your sample size is large, you may not want to take it sometime. It's also appropriate. So we are taking adjusted standard error, and then ensure that here is random effect because the study were conducted across different regions and use different research design. But if they were similar, homogeneity, incompleteness, then you can take fixed effect. But in real world, random effect is usually the common experience. So we are taking random effect. On the criteria here, you may not need to take anything. Just leave it at confidence interval at default. And the analysis, leave it also at default because you are not running based on subgroup analysis. So the next thing you do, click on bias. If you click on bias, let's take eager regression-based test because it's important. We want to know the extent to which there is bias in the studies which we selected or systematically assessed. So when that is done, click continuous. Then time frame, also take on estimates number of missing studies. So let's click on it. When that is done, click also. The reason for this is to know the extent to which some studies are missing or not. So click continue. Then print, under print, let's test homogeneity and heterogeneity. So because of that purpose, take test of homogeneity and heterogeneity measures. And then also click on effect size to understand effect size based on individual studies. So you don't just have for overall, but for individual studies. So take it and then continue. On the save day, we are not saving anything. So leave it that way. On plot, you have different plots. You have plot, forest plot, you have bubble plot, you have funnel plot, you have cowbell plot. You can explore any of these, but let's take forest plot first. So you can click on forest plot here, take it. When that is ticked, then also tick all the boxes here, effect size, standard error, confidence interval, p-value, and weight because they're important, you need them. Then when you have done that, also notice that reference line here is very important. So take the overall effect size for you to see reference line, and then null effect size to see if there is anyone that is not statistically significant. The null effect size would let you know that. Then you may also want to explore another plot, for example, funnel plot. So tick on, let's take funnel plot because mostly it's important in most publications. You can tick on funnel plot here. So tick on it. After ticking it, you may want to run the funnel plot based on study ID or study label. So let's take study label because we want to see the study, the authors of the study, and also the publication years. So let's take study label. After doing that, then click continue. When you have done with that, click OK. So now this opens the result. Let's expand it so that you can see it clearly. So this is the meta-analysis summary. Meta-analysis continuous outcome with raw data. And then this is a case processing summary, informing us that 5 studies were included and none of these studies were missing. So they are 0. And the effect size estimate.